You've entered the red light files. There's no going back. Let's begin. Story 1. I never thought a simple group chat could become my worst nightmare. 3 months ago, my college friends Emma, Carlos, and I set up Nightwatch on WhatsApp, just a private place to share our Ring camera feeds. Emma's camera covered the living room, Carlos's pointed at the back porch, and mine watched the front door. We used it to check on deliveries, prank each other with filters, and laugh at our cat creeping across the hallway. Every night at 11 p.m. we'd post a quick all good emoji and log off. Safe, mundane, boring. Last night changed everything. At 11:59 p.m. my phone buzzed with a new Nightwatch notification. I unlocked it and saw a single image, my silhouette, from behind, stepping through my front door. The timestamp read 0:01, April 29th, 2026. My phone's clock said 11:59 p.m., April 29th, 2025. I was still at work in downtown Columbus, 10 miles away. My heart slammed against my ribs. I messaged Emma, "Did you send this?" 2 seconds later, "No." I deleted it but it reappeared. Carlos wrote, "Not me either." My feed's blank. I switched to my live feed, empty porch, dark street, nothing out of place. 15 minutes later, another photo landed. This one showed my living room in complete chaos, cushions torn off the sofa, coffee table flipped, shards of glass glittering on the rug. I dashed through the front door, my living room was spotless. I glanced back at the group, Emma's voice note trembled, "That's not my feed." Carlos typed, "Bruh, what the hell is happening?" At 0:30 came the third snapshot, muddy footprints leading from my front door across the hardwood floor toward the kitchen. My shoes were clean, the floor had no dirt. I spun around, saw only the polished surface reflecting the hallway light. I sent a text, "I'm coming over, something's wrong." But before I could grab my keys, the fourth photo arrived. It showed me, back turned, standing in my hallway, and behind me, a dark hooded figure, its face hidden in shadow. I froze. In the real hallway there was no one. I tapped the feed, empty. My phone buzzed again, Emma's message read, "Delete the chat now." I hit delete, watched the group vanish, and reappear instantly, with all 4 photos reloading. Panic rose in my throat. I yanked open the breaker box and cut power to the router. Ring cameras went offline. Yet a 5th image popped into Nightwatch, the hallway door, cracked open, a pale hand gripping the knob from the outside. My breaker box light blinked, someone had tapped into a different circuit. I yanked the panel cover off and spotted a tiny Wi-Fi relay wired behind it, blinking green. By 0:45 I was tearing wires free. The relay went dark, but Nightwatch dinged again, a 6th photo, me stumbling backward, face pale, eyes wide, and behind me in the mirror's reflection, the same hooded shape. I hadn't even looked in the mirror. I threw my phone across the room, it skidded under the couch and kept buzzing. I grabbed my jacket and fled to Emma's apartment 2 doors down. Her door swung open before I could knock. She was white as a sheet, eyes wild. "It's in my living room now," she whispered. On her phone, the group displayed a fresh shot, her sofa ripped apart, the same muddy footprints. At that moment, Carlos burst in, soaked from the rain. He'd rushed from home after seeing the photos. Behind him, through Emma's window, I saw movement on her back porch, another silhouette. We huddled in the dark as our phones flooded with new snapshots every 5 minutes, Carlos's kitchen cabinets hanging open, my front door swinging on its hinges, Emma's bedroom mirror reflecting empty air, but in the mirror, a pair of glowing eyes. None of us could breathe. Whoever, or whatever, was sending these images had a camera planted inside each of our homes, and it was watching us right now. By 1:30 a.m. we'd lost all sense of time. The last message from Nightwatch arrived, a single line of text under a black image, "See you at midnight." Then the group dissolved again. Our phones went silent. Outside, the rain fell heavier. In the hallway, I thought I heard a soft click, like a door opening. We didn't move. We just stared at the dark corridor, waiting for the next snapshot. I hardly slept. Emma dozed in her armchair, Carlos sprawled on the couch. I sat on the floor, back against the wall, phone in hand, afraid to close my eyes. Every time I thought I heard a ping, my heart leapt. At 4:15, Emma stirred. "I can't stay here," she whispered. "They'll come through the window." She was right. When dawn's pale light seeped through the curtains, I saw muddy footprints on her porch steps, fresh, leading up to her door, then back down. Carlos checked his own apartment when the rain let up, the same footprints on his welcome mat. We realized fleeing one house wouldn't help. The entity followed our cameras and our phones. We needed to break the link. The plan: destroy every camera. Factory reset our phones. Delete WhatsApp completely and block each other's numbers. We split up at 6 a.m. I returned home first. The front door was ajar. Inside, shards of glass from my living room lamp lay scattered, just like in that 015 snapshot. I kicked the lamp aside, then yanked down the front door camera. Behind it, wires trailed into the wall. I yanked them free. Next, I smashed my phone against the tile floor until the screen spider webbed. No more buzzing. No more images. No more night watch. I texted Carlos from Emma's landline, "Done." "You?" A minute later, all cameras smashed. Phone dead. But footprints on my floor too. Emma called from her neighbor's house. They came through the window last night, mud on my carpet. I cleaned it, but I swear I felt something brush past me in the dark. False dawn. By noon, we met back at Emma's. The three of us stood in her empty living room. No screens, no wires, just silent walls. The rain had stopped. Sunlight looked innocent. I laughed nervously. "We did it, right? We're safe." Carlos smirked. "Let's hope so." We hugged goodbye and went our separate ways. Night falls again. At 11:58 p.m., I lay in bed, phone replaced by an old burner with no data plan. I deleted WhatsApp, blocked Emma and Carlos, even changed my number. I refused to download any messaging app. I refused to look at any camera feed. Then my burner vibrated. One text message. "See you at midnight." No sender ID. No number, just that line. My blood froze. I glanced at the clock, 11:59. I bolted upright. The walls were silent. My windows shut. My front door locked. Yet I heard it, a soft click, like a latch releasing. The deadbolt slid back. I leapt from bed and shoved the door closed, fumbling for the chain lock. When I turned around, my phone screen lit up with a new image, though it had no camera feed to pull from. The picture showed me, lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, unaware. Behind me, in the dark corner of my room, stood that hooded figure, just beyond the reach of the lamp's glow. I dropped the phone. It skidded under the nightstand, but remained face up, glowing. The figure raised a pale hand and tapped the phone screen. The image changed. Now it showed an empty hallway, leading away from my bedroom. Footprints, fresh, muddy, marred the carpet, heading toward me. My legs gave out. I crumpled to the floor, eyes locked on the phone. The timestamp glowed at the top, midnight, April 30th, 2026. Then the phone died. Aftermath. I don't know how I survived the night. At first light, neighbors found my door wide open. I was gone, phone, shoes, everything left behind. No sign of a struggle, except muddy footprints leading out onto the street, then vanishing at the curb. Emma and Carlos disappeared too. Their apartments were empty, cameras destroyed, phones smashed. No footprints beyond their thresholds. I've been moving ever since, new cities, new identities, no cameras, no smartphones. But sometimes I wake at midnight, heart hammering, hearing the soft click of a door unlocking. And I know, it's found me again. Because you can't delete what's already seen you. If you ever get a snapshot dated in the future, don't just delete it. Run. Story 2. The midnight fare. I never should have accepted that 2:14 a.m. ride request. My eyes burned from studying for finals, my couch had never felt more inviting, and yet Drive Easy pinged with a single blinking at Elm and 5th, an intersection in the part of Columbus even cops avoided. The fare promised triple surge. Curiosity and overdue rent notices won. I tapped accept. Pulling up under a broken street lamp, I saw her silhouette before I saw her face, a tall woman in a long, dark coat, shoulders hunched as though she carried the weight of the night. She slid into the back seat without a word. Her perfume was faint, something like rain on asphalt. I glanced at the meter, it was already running. "Where to?" I asked. She stared ahead. "Finally, just drive." The GPS routed me onto a narrow side street I'd never noticed on my usual runs. The storefronts were shuttered, windows boarded. No streetlights. No other cars. My headlights cut two pale cones through the darkness. 10 minutes passed in silence, save for the hum of tires on cracked pavement. Then she tapped my shoulder. "Stop here." We'd arrived at a graffiti-scarred alley, dumpsters leaning like tired sentinels. I killed the engine. My breath puffed in the cold air. I clicked the trunk release and stepped out to help with her suitcase. That's when I saw them, shadows slipping between dumpsters, long limbs twisting around corners, melting into the night. They moved too fluidly, too deliberately, as if waiting for her. My pulse spiked. I turned back to the trunk. She was gone. On the floorboard lay her suitcase and her phone, face up, screen glowing. A single unread text, "Help me." I froze. Then I picked up the phone. The ride was still active. The app refused to cancel. The GPS recalculated, destination home, 50 blocks away. I tapped cancel, error message, unable to cancel. Passenger unavailable. I slammed the trunk shut and slid into the driver's seat. My hands shook on the wheel. I dialed her number. 1 ring, 2, straight to voicemail. I texted, "Where are you?" The message sat unsent. The engine idled. The alley was silent. I switched to the live feed on my dashcam, empty. No sign she'd ever existed except suitcase, phone, and that text. I punched her drop-off address into Google Maps. The pin lay in an industrial zone I'd never visited. I followed the directions onto a boulevard, then onto side streets that warped beneath my tires. At every intersection, the GPS spun its arrow and sent me deeper into the labyrinth. 20 minutes later I pulled onto a wider avenue. The app pinged again, new ride request, Elm and 5th. Her face appeared, pale, hooded, silent. The pickup button glowed. I stared at it. My chest tightened. Then I tapped arrived. My headlights landed on the same graffiti wall. No suitcase. No woman. Just shadows pooling at the edges. The back door clicked open on its own, empty. I stepped out, heart hammering. The air tasted metallic. A soft scraping noise came from the far end of the alley. I shone my high beams into the gloom, nothing. Then I heard it again, nails on concrete. I swallowed. My phone buzzed, another request, same location. I tried to cancel, again, unable to cancel. A countdown timer appeared, driver must arrive in 1:30 or trip autocompletes. I gunned the engine and followed the arrow. The road narrowed. The streetlights vanished. My headlights flickered against a chain-link fence topped with barbed wire. Beyond it, a building loomed, windows black, doors chained. The GPS read approaching pickup. I coasted to a stop. There, the woman, standing beyond the fence, back turned. I opened my door, cold air rushed in. She didn't move. I stepped forward. The gate was padlocked. The ride timer blinked, 45. I tapped arrived. The back door swung open. I held my breath and leaned in, no one. Then the scraping noise again, much closer. I spun around. At the fence, my suitcase lay on the gravel, wheels half buried. Next to it, muddy footprints led away into darkness. My phone buzzed with one final notification: trip completed. Earnings, $0. I never saw her face. I never got paid. But every time I pass Elm and Fifth now, I check the rearview mirror and half expect to see that long coat sliding into the back seat. My hands shook so badly I could barely unlock my front door. I tossed the suitcase and that phone onto the porch and bolted inside. Lights on, locks clicked into place. I leaned against the door, chest heaving, listening for anything. Silence. I sat on the sofa, staring at the clock, 3 a.m. I should call the police. But what would I say? I picked up a ghost at Elm and Fifth. The dash cam had footage, though the back seat camera only recorded blackness. No woman. No shadows. Just me, slamming the door. At 3:15, my phone buzzed. A text from a number I didn't recognize. "Thank you for the ride." My stomach dropped. I deleted the message. Then the app notification: new trip request. My finger trembled over the screen. The pickup pin: Elm and Fifth, destination, my address. I powered off the phone. The app went dark. No more pings. I exhaled. Morning came. Sunlight felt foreign. I dared a peek at the porch. The suitcase was gone. No footprints, no sign of struggle. My own shoes were clean. My sedan sat in the driveway, engine cold. I drove to the station and filed a report: missing passenger, unresponsive number, no evidence. The officer listened politely, then shrugged. "We'll check the cameras, but that alley's private property. Owners unlikely to cooperate." I left feeling hollow. Back home, I found a folded piece of paper on the driver's seat. In neat, looping script. Next pickup, tonight at midnight. Don't be late. No signature. No explanation. My pulse thundered. I looked up, the seatbelt slowly retracted, as if someone invisible had unbuckled it. I grabbed my keys and got in. The engine turned over. The GPS screen blinked: Elm and Fifth, 0 miles away. My foot hovered over the accelerator. I wanted to drive away. I wanted to burn the sedan. But curiosity, and the faint hope of answers, won. I pulled onto the street. The world outside blurred. Every headlight became that broken street lamp. Every shadow looked like her coat. At 11:59 p.m., I rolled to a stop under the dead lamp at Elm and Fifth. The air was still. I killed the engine and waited. Midnight arrived. My phone, still off, buzzed in my pocket. I flipped it open, one message, timestamped midnight. Here. I glanced in the rearview mirror. The back door creaked open. A figure slid into the seat, tall, silent, coat dripping with night. I swallowed. "Where to?" I whispered. She turned. Her eyes were empty sockets of darkness. Then her lips curved into a smile. "Home," she said, "my address." I pulled away. The meter climbed. The road stretched out into forever. And I realized I was driving someone who would never get out.